When he was abroad in places like Kazakhstan and Libya, he was involved with much younger girls. How young? Well, I know of some of 15, there could have been some younger. A lot of these girls from France and particularly from Russia, many of whom didn't speak any English, were, 12, 13, 14, that sort of age.
Someone went up to Sandringham last Saturday from the palace to suggest to Andrew that he voluntarily gives up the succession.
Breaking today, two massive royal scandals, one of which could result in a historic change to the line of succession. So there are growing reports that the British royal family and King Charles himself is advocating for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to remove himself from the line of succession. So it wouldn't have to be a show of force by the British government in order to do this, while the disgraced Duke is still facing a potential trial on claims of misconduct in public office. The pressure on this is building.
Quick favor, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the royal rabbit hole, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Over 92% of you watching haven't joined the family yet. It's free, takes a second, and helps us keep the lights on here at Royal Fusion TV. Cheers to those who've already clicked. Now, back to the chaos. We start with the exposé heard round the world. Variety didn't just write a profile, they performed a digital autopsy on the Sussex brand. We're talking about allegations of shock treatment regarding Harry's public image, essentially suggesting that the prince is being handled with all the finesse of a high-voltage cattle prod. The report paints a picture of a man not just finding his voice, but being coached into a very specific, very loud frequency that sounds suspiciously like a script written by someone else. It's the kind of journalism that makes a publicist want to retire to a cave in the Cotswolds. Think of it like this: if the Sussexes were a tech startup, this article is the equivalent of the lead engineer admitting the software is mostly bugs and the CEO spends all day arguing with the office plant. It's messy, it's public, and it's predictably sparked a legal wildfire. When the going gets tough, the tough call the people who charge £500 an hour. Meghan Markle hasn't just sent an email, she's reportedly mobilized the heavy hitters. The narrative is clear: how dare you suggest the Duke is being managed? But here is the delicious irony: hiring a fleet of lawyers to prove you aren't controlling a situation is a bit like screaming "I am calm" at a librarian. It's a bold move, high energy, and frankly, a bit desperate. This isn't just about protecting Harry, it's about protecting the brand. Because in the world of high-level PR, an unmanaged prince is a liability, but a poorly managed prince is a catastrophe. It's a delicate dance, like trying to perform surgery with a sledgehammer while wearing a designer gown. Now, let's talk about that shock treatment. In the context of this exposé, we aren't talking about literal electricity, though judging by the look on Harry's face at some of these galas, a mild jolt might actually help. No, the shock treatment refers to the aggressive rebranding strategies allegedly used to pivot him from war hero to wellness warrior. The problem? The pivot has been so sharp it's given the public collective whiplash. It's like taking a classic Jaguar and trying to turn it into a Tesla by gluing iPads to the dashboard. You haven't made it modern, you've just confused the people who liked the original. The Variety piece suggests that Harry's recent solo ventures, which, let's be honest, have been more frequent than a London bus, are a desperate attempt to prove he still has a pulse of his own. While the lawyers are busy sharpening their quills, what's happening behind those olive-toned gates in California? Word on the street, and by street, I mean the highly curated whispers of the Californian elite, is that the atmosphere is tense. And by tense, I mean don't touch the expensive crystal tense. When a major Hollywood trade publication turns on you, it's not just bad press, it's an eviction notice from the cool table. Meghan has always played the Hollywood game like a grandmaster, but it seems Variety just flipped the board. The transition from royal couple to content creators was supposed to be seamless. Instead, it's looking more like a patchwork quilt made of old grievances and expensive litigation. If they lose the support of the industry Bibles, they aren't just royals in exile, they're just another couple with a podcast nobody asked for. The most stinging part of the exposé isn't actually about Meghan, it's the portrayal of Harry as a man in need of treatment to stay relevant. It suggests a lack of agency that is, quite frankly, brutal. For a man who wrote a book about his spare status, being framed as a spare part in his own life is the ultimate insult. Imagine being a prince of the realm and having a magazine imply you're being managed like a TikTok influencer who just got caught in a scandal. It's a fall from grace that requires more than just a legal rebuttal, it requires a personality transplant. The variety volley has hit him where it hurts, his pride. And when a prince's pride is wounded, the lawyers are usually the first ones through the door. So, where do they go from here? You can't sue a magazine into liking you. You can't litigate your way into the public's heart. The shock treatment narrative is out there now, and it's stickier than a toddler with a lollipop. The strategy of attack and defend has been the Sussexes' bread and butter for years, but the bread is getting stale and the butter is definitely rancid. The next few months will be telling. Will we see a softer Harry? A relatable Meghan? Or will the legal filings keep piling up until they've built a wall of paper high enough to hide behind? It's a high-stakes drama where the script is being written in real time, and currently, the writers are on strike and the lead actors are arguing with the director. At the end of the day, this isn't just about a magazine article. It's about the collapse of a carefully constructed illusion. The shock treatment exposé has peeled back the curtain, and instead of a wizard, we found a very stressed legal team and a duke who looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Whether the lawyers can fix this is doubtful, but one thing is certain, the Royal Fusion remains as explosive as ever. Thank you for watching Royal Fusion TV.